You, you know, I always got to be your, what do they call that? Ride or die. I got to be your ride or die.
Well,
Spivey,
welcome everybody to the Builders Call. I see Todd Spivey just jumped in, and love to see his smiling face when he has the time to do it these days. We've got some special guests on the Builders Call today, and some that I always like to bring different people in so that we can kind of relate to maybe the way they may be recruiting and building and talk about their experiences and really get down into the X and O's about the business of building an agency, because it's so important. And I think when we have these calls, you know, and coming to these calls is so important, and to be a participant in becoming a master of this business. And to do it, it doesn't take a lot of time. It just takes participation. And you have such great tools these days with Quility U and with Summit and all of the things we've got on the site itself, your managers and the team calls they have. But man, coming to this thing, you get some nuggets, Brian. I mean, you come here and there's little things you learn, and having a notepad and a pen and something to write with while you're on these calls, and really thinking about applying some of the things that the people that are here to voluntarily help you and continuously help on these builders calls is so valuable, Brian.
it is, and I appreciate you diving into the X's and O's. And a lot of times we've got a knowledge gap or an activity gap in some way, and there's reasons why we have both. But thanks for helping us close the gap on the some of the little practicalities and pieces. And I love the folks that you've invited to be on today. I know it's going to be a unique and helpful perspective.
It is, and thank you, Brian. I brought these two wonderful human beings on the call today. The reason I say that is that they just simply always have a good attitude, always have a willingness to participate and learn, will execute on everything that they're told to do with a great attitude. I think the expectation sometimes, or the commitment level of anything that we do is probably something that we overlook a little bit. And so, Ben, if I were to ask you, first of all, when you started, and you can say who you're direct to and all those things, but when you started, was recruiting something? I mean, when you first got in and you first got your license and everything, was recruiting even on the radar for you, or what was happening with you?
Well, again, yeah, thanks, Max. Really appreciate you having me on. Ben Edson, direct to Griff Martin in the Edward Pritchett hierarchy, and so stoked to be here. So thank you for having me on. This has been an awesome journey. I got my license at the end of last year and didn't really get going until mid-February. And yeah, recruiting was on my mind. I mean, but I just had no idea what I was getting into or how to get into it. I've been in sales my entire life, and I've been incredibly successful, but I never had a chance to put people under me and kind of teach them what I knew and help people in that way. And so when I met Griff and he sort of explained the system to me, that was really what kind of caught my ear. I was like, okay, I can help people, but I can help people by protecting them, but I can also help people by bringing on and passing my knowledge on. So I did. I went out and got some warm market folks right away, and we all kind of wrote business at the same time, right off the bat. But then begin the cold market process, and that's when I met you. So thankfully,
yeah, I like that, because you were obviously trained by your manager, Griff, who said, hey, let's talk about recruiting right up front. So that's a great manager. Number one, obviously from the Pritchett down line, is they've been trained well. But the thing is you mentioned it. Well, it was on my radar, and I started off with cold market. Did Griff give you specifics as to how to do that? And then, what were the things that you did to get some warm market people? And the reason I say that is that obviously your sphere of influence and the people around you and the friends you want to bring with you on a great opportunity and a great company and things like that. But people want, pardon me, people want to know who do I talk to? Where can I find the training? Where can I find how to warm market recruit? We talk about it on these calls, and I'll answer this because I'm soliciting an answer from you a little different. But listen, everybody, if you go into HQ and you just log in and you go under the agency building tab, and then you go under the builder's corner tab, it's going to have the exact process, whether you're doing it warm market, whether you're doing it manually, whether you want to get into it with automation, exactly what you say, exactly what text you send, what email you send, what you say live to somebody. And if you have an owner circle recruit site from Symmetry, where you log in and you get yourself a nice little web page done professionally with all these videos on it and everything else, and you can send somebody there regardless if they're a warm market or whatever, and they get to see some quality content from the owners and other people just like them that have just started. That's what I think is a big winner. And when you get that, you're going to pay, I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's $80 plus the recruit funnels, about $110 or something a month. And now you have a fantastic website that has a form that's going to let them fill everything out and request the time to interview with you and things like that. And so knowing where to go in HQ is the Quilty U and the building blocks and the summit training that's in there is just absolutely phenomenal, being trained by some of the best agents out there. And that's what I love about this training is we're using people that are doing this every day. It's just not like some teachers trying to teach. These people actually are doing the activity every day. So when you warm market recruited, Ben, what did you do exactly?
Well, the thing that really caught my eye when I first started talking to Griff was I went to a corporate overview. I logged on Friday and went to the Pritchett corporate overview and was just so impressed with the energy and the content. I mean, literally, just to tell you the story, I mean, a week later, I was getting my hair cut, and the lady who's been cutting my hair forever was like, I'm so over cutting hair. I've been doing this for 25 years. And I was like, you should come check this thing out with me this Friday. Well, she got her license. She actually wrote her first application before I wrote my first application. But it's not hard. I mean, the content's all there. The content's out there. You just got to lead people to the content. And the OC site, when I got that, I mean, that just gave me some validity. It gave me something to put on my business card and hand out to people. That it's instant. It's like instant creation of a business. I've owned some of my own businesses. It's hard to get to that point, but the system makes it so easy.
Sometimes we feel like, you can we talk about this all the time, Luis, and, we talk about warm market recruiting, or we talk about unique writer, we talk about these acronyms, if you will. And warm market recruiting is nothing more than talking to people that that may be friends, that may be relatives, that may be somebody at the grocery store at the checkout counter, that may be a rental car person, that you're literally just saying, hey man, how do you like what you're doing? I'm looking for some people to work with me as a partner in this business. We make pretty good money, and but you do have to have a license. And if you're interested in talking to me, so warm market, meaning people around you, right? That's what we refer to as warm market recruiting. Go to HQ and download the warm market recruiting process. Luis, you were on my training call. You're on them every week. We do them 2 times a week for those that have owner circle recruit funnel sites. And we talk about recruiting and the best practices, and everybody kind of shares all of what they're doing and how they're doing it. And it's just become a really nice community to participate in. But yesterday we talked about the value of asking questions, right? I mean, how do you learn things? I mean, talk to me about what you feel like. I mean, the comfort level, sometimes we don't want to ask, like even right now, if you're watching the builder's call and you've got questions about recruiting, or you want to know what to do or how to do something, you're not going to know unless you ask the questions to your manager. You're not going to know unless You seek out that help. You have that commitment. You have that burning desire to get to the higher level income and the passive income of recruiting. And it's just a long-term commitment. I mean, it's like if you started a business, do you start it to say, I'm going to end it in 6 months? Do you quit then? I mean, do you have a long-term commitment? Are you all in, or are you half in and half out? What do you have to say about that, Louise?
Well, you know what, Max, thank you so much for the invite here on the platform. And I can say that, I absolutely enjoy connecting with you on Tuesday and Thursday. I have put it at the top of my calendar. I make it a priority. If there's any way possible I can be on that panel or the platform, I'm going to be there. But I also would like to give a shout out to none other than my partner, who is Nancy Hill. And I can truly say that anytime I reach out to Nancy, for the most part, she gets back with me, to me in a timely manner. So I just wanted to say thank you, Nancy, for your support. Now, to answer as far as to the question, Max, absolutely, you cannot build an empire alone. You have got to have builders around you, people who kind of know the way, perhaps who have been in the race a bit longer than you have, and they're willing to share. So don't be afraid, guys, whatever you do, even if you think you know, lay that aside and just ask somebody who's already doing it. So you got to definitely have quality people around you.
Why do you think building is important, and why did you make the decision to do it?
Well, you know what? That's a great question. Now, building for me, because you know what I realized, I'm only able to do so much within, a certain amount of time that is allotted to me today or during the day. But if I actually get 12 other individuals who is willing to go after their dreams, their goals, whatever, their aspirations are, and we can collectively compound that effect, it makes me look much better. And of course, it rewards me because I'm really there to support them every step of the way. So
that's the beautiful thing about what you said about Nancy.
Yes.
Nancy, I asked her a couple of questions or to bring something to the table and gave people homework on our calls. And what did she do? She went straight out, did it, brought it back to the group, mentored you on it, mentored everybody on our team on it, shared it with us so that we could ultimately implement a 12-touch system for the pre-licensing to get more people graduated out of pre-licensing and into contracting. And that's being implemented now. Just attending these calls, you get things like that with Nancy, with you, Louise. I mean, you are constantly participating and answering questions and asking questions, and you got that from the culture, from the top down. You got that from your manager. If we could say anything about this organization, is its culture. We obviously we win awards by that. We're voted the #1 insurance group in the nation in 2022. And there's a real reason for it. They don't just give you those things. The reason that it is there's great communication and there's great culture and willingness to help those that seek out the help. If you're out there by yourself and you're not seeking out the help, you're not requesting your manager on their team calls that you want to get into recruiting and you want to know the best practices and you need a little help maybe with the interviewing process. Help me get a few people under me. The value, the long-term return on investment on a recruit that writes business is massive. You can't find a better investment, but you have to make that commitment. And I think you said that yesterday, even on the call, your commitment to this. This is something that you have to decide. Okay, why did I get my license in the first place? And then I got my license and I want to make good income and ultimately have something to leave to my family and also have that good residual income coming in so that I don't always have to be producing all the time. What's your schedule look like right now on producing and recruiting, Louise?
You know what, Max, that's a great question because that's something I've always been very passionate about, simply for the mere fact, if I feel that there's anything that is good enough for me, it is certainly good enough for someone else. So I just make it a priority to share. Now, as far as to working both components, I go after a lot of individuals. One thing I believe in is the 3 feet rule. If you are 3 feet within wherever I am, we're going to have a conversation. That's number one. So now, in addition to that, even as I talk to my clients, they may actually just be a prospect. But you know what? One thing I know, and especially now, there are more people looking for opportunity. They want to be able to work 100% remote, or at least 80% remote, if all possible. The gas prices is going through the roof. There is no guarantee on the jobs. You may have a job 3 years, 5 years, you're laid off, you're out back on the platform, you're running, looking for another job. So the question to ask is, how many times can you really start over? So, I just make it a priority because I know what freedom feels like. I mean, I get the opportunity, guys, to work 100% from my office. And you know what? I can promise you this, you will forever be the best boss. So join us over here, make it happen.
I couldn't believe, I couldn't have said that better myself. And I probably need to start having Luis run these calls. One thing about her, and I see Melanie, talking, it's, if you let that resonate, what freedom feels like, you really, what options do you have that you can sit at home and be around your family and take your own time and breaks and things and make this money and and have every sale be an average APV of $1,100 and make $500 or $600 cash flow on every one of them and get paid direct from the carrier right into your bank account and sit right in front of your computer and do it. I tell you, man, it's been amazing. And I love, how long have you been doing this, Luis?
I actually came aboard with Symmetry. It was actually the end of 2015, but at the time I was an educator. So I worked in education for about 20 years, and while my girls was little girls, and just decided, I moved from Florida. I'm currently residents of Atlanta, Georgia. And I decided when I made the transition that I really wanted to start a new journey. So shortly after I moved to Atlanta, I was already licensed in Florida. When I moved to Atlanta, Symmetry reached out to me. And the young lady who I spoke to, her name was Amber. And the things she said to me, I just could not believe. So after she finished offering me to come aboard with Symmetry, I said, you know what, let me just convey exactly what I heard you say, because this is almost like too good to be true. And so I just conveyed back to her what she said to me. And she said, yeah. I said, okay, so what is my next move? And I've been aboard ever since. So I actually just came aboard full time when the COVID started back 2 years ago. And my husband walked in the room. Sad to say, we lost him August of last year. But he walked in the work area last year and said, hey, babe, you going back to the school? And I said, absolutely not. So I have not had an interest to look back, because what I realized, Max, is what they were paying me a month, I was making in a day. And there was nothing to return back to.
Man, I'll tell you what, having women in your life like Luis is like got me chill bumps all over my arm. What's that lion mean in the back?
I'm glad you asked, because you know what? I'm inspired, totally inspired by this lion. Guys, just to share with you a few things about this lion. And you know what? It just gets me excited. So I put it up there just last week. But one thing about the lion has a fearless mentality. And what that really means is that, you know what? We really don't have to walk in scarcity thinking. We really don't. It's all in a state of mind. In addition to that, guys, being courageous, just be willing to be courageous. And you know what? You're going to feel the pain. It's okay to feel the pain, but it's not okay to not move. And I have to tell myself that, in fact, on the platform this morning, on the huddle up, we were asked the question, what was one of our main quotes? And one thing I can say that moves me is just do it. So even when I don't feel like it, guys, I get up and do it. In fact, when I don't feel like it, that's when I run the hardest, because I know it's just a trick of the enemy to steal my dream, and I will not be denied.
And that is the trick of the enemy. And I can tell you right now, you probably got Nike signs all over your room. Just do it. I just love it, man. And, I don't know about everybody on this call, but I'm about to get out of my chair and start running around the house right now, because she's got me motivated like nobody's business. And Ben, talk to me, man. I mean, every time, you're on the call and you've got something good and positive to say. Tell us about your recruiting numbers, man. What are you doing and how are you doing it?
You know what? Since I actually started, I've always recruited. I mean, when I look back at my directory, guys, I probably have at least about 50 people. The goal is to get to 200. Now, I understand the matrix on that, because be aware, everybody who you share the opportunity with, they're not going to be willing to push through. And that's the hardest challenge for most people, is moving themselves out of the way so that they can get to from where they are to where they're going. And that's a journey. That's a real journey. You're only going to be able to stand on the stage of wherever it takes you guys at the end of your destiny to tell the real story. And you know what? It's not always sugar-coated as to how you arrive. And that's why the reward is so huge, because you were willing to pay the price. So out of the people that I've shared the opportunity with, I currently have about 5 active individuals right now. But like I said, now since the quantum, I've brought aboard actually about 8 people. And that's just a matter of about 2 months.
I love that, man. And that's exactly the on track of what you want to do. And thank you for sharing, Luis, because people got to hear that. They got to hear that commitment level. They got to know that you know, it really is left up to who? It's left up to you. And you've got the tools here. You've got the roadmap. You've got the management to ask the questions. Ben, can I ask you a question, man?
Yeah, shoot.
Are you cold market recruiting now?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. We got in, I guess we've got a pod of 4 under Griff, and we got in mid-April with your system, and just learning the process, learning from you, learning from Rebecca, making those little tweaks. And I've got 2 people that got their license this week that came through ZipRecruiter. So 4 unique writers this month. And, I've only been here since mid-February, so I'm stoked about those numbers, and got more people in the pipeline. So it's just those little tweaks, just following the system, just studying the numbers, and it just keeps getting a little better and a little better every month.
I just love your participation and your willingness to execute on the things that you learn. And let me tell you something, you keep adding 4, 5, 6 unique writers a month, and that's going to turn into real money. In about a year from now, you're going to be those guys that are in the 6-figure override. And so that's the value of understanding the commitment, but doing the work and learning and participating in the training, is something, I have to mention this really quick, is that, the Quility's chief marketing officer, Joe Dindy, had a little bit of something to say about you. So how do you know Joe Dindy? And let's let the team here know, you guys got a little background. I heard you were kind of a ripped type athlete type dude. So let me hear a little bit about that.
Oh man. Well, I do hail from Asheville, North Carolina. So I'm here right adjacent to the mothership, but oh man, that's a few levels of separation there. Joe's wife, Bren, and I used to work at the same whitewater rafting company in West Virginia when we were just kids. I'm talking early 2000s. We were both Class 5 raft guides, and her dad was actually the manager of the company. So big shout out to Bren Dendy as well. And
that was just a quick story, because I was mentioning it to Joe that you were going to be on the call. Oh, I know him, man. Him and my wife, man, they started going into that. It's just such a small world that we live in. And I'm so thankful, man, to have you on the call today, and thankful that you're with Symmetry and doing all that you're doing. I would be remiss, though, if I didn't mention this beautiful young lady over here, Rebecca Cross, who has worked with me for 7 years in building agencies, selling insurance. Every time you turn around, she's getting some other license. I think she's getting her 6 and Series 6 and Series 65. She loves insurance, and she loves helping people, and she wants to be a holistic type provider to the clients. And Rebecca has gone through this whole process of building her own team and understanding the communication value of communicating via email and text and phone calls, and becoming that, having the habit forming exercise and activities every day, like Luis and Ben and Rebecca. It becomes a habit. It's like when you start, it's just like when you first started calling on your A leads or whatever, you don't think you're going to like it, or you don't want to do it or whatever. And then when you do it, you go, man, I'm getting paid this much money to make a few phone calls. I mean, give me a break. Rebecca, what would you say? Why are you still in this business? And then what would you say, just to the group, we got a few minutes here, the value of recruiting, and I'll just have to say it, man, because she got the #1 guy on my team. The guy did $80,000 a month. So you will find those needles in a haystack, and it was on her team, and she found them using this system. Talk to us, Rebecca.
I'm still in this industry because I actually really, really love it. And I had a strong affinity to understand it really, really fast. So I've been in sales my whole life, just like Ben had. And when I met you probably 8 years ago back in Indiana at a different conference in a different world, you were the master of recruiting. And I migrated toward that, and I wanted to make it a business. I didn't want to work for anybody else, and which is a little ironic because I do work for the company, but I'm still a producer in the wholesale side. But I love this business and I love helping people. I think that it just takes, like any business, you know, you have to dig in and be consistent and find the results, because Louise and Ben both have started, but it hasn't been without their challenges. We help these people and manage their accounts. So it's, you know, while they have fantastic energy and the right frame of mind, it's still challenges, right? So you have to get and push through those. You have to change your strategy when the market changes on you, you got to change your strategy. You got to dig in. You have to figure out how to dig in and make this really work. And having this up here, right, is what makes your business work. So Louise is absolutely spot on when she says, you know, she's not going to let anybody get in the way of her dreams, because the resources that this company puts together, and we have been around, Max and I have been around this industry. Maybe it's vast, but it's small. And the resources here, let me tell you, you do not have the resources that you have here. And when you recruit, I'm going to give you one word, what recruiting means. It means leverage. You are leveraging your business to be at a higher level, period.
You know, I think leverage is the word. You know, when you've heard them all. I mean, you know, Zig Ziglar, I mean, everybody, help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. You know what I'm saying? Those kind of things. And it seems almost too cliche to state it like that. But becoming a great agency builder means you have to become a great leader. And so therefore, learning to lead, using these coaching cohorts of Brian Williamson's and the leadership side of things, digging in, investing in your business. It's such a minor investment if you really think about the amount of money you would pay to get a master's degree or a PhD and take you 6 or 8 years. You can get that done here in a year and pay a minuscule amount of money to get coached properly and employ the right type of activity on the right type of schedule and manage your money and your time and get your profitability dialed in, and then move into it as like there's no, in other words, it's the old analogy where you're on a boat, you go to the island, you get out of the boat, you burn the boat, you can't go back, you're on the island, you got to make it happen right there. You know, I can tell you, you guys know my passion. I come with passion because I love the industry, I love the people, and I love this company because of who they are and how they execute. And in other words, their words mean what they say, what they mean, and it always is the truth. You can't find a better place to work than that. I don't know who we want to turn it over to, if it's Todd or Brian, but I hope that you guys will engage yourself in making understanding that you've got two pieces of the sides of the business of your business. You can work the rest of your life, which is fine, and you can sell, which is fine. And many people don't want to recruit, and that's okay. But if you do recruit, same time you're producing, your time, you will gain time to spend more with your family. You will gain leverage and more income. You will feel great because you're helping others build their legacies, if you will, and their income. And you'll become that leader that maybe you're a little afraid of to get started. I just know that you have to start and you have to keep going. And you need to get plugged in with mentors, with coaches, and with people that are serious about the long-term commitment it takes to build a legacy for your family with recruiting. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Max. Can't wait to hang with you guys in Denver.
Thank you, guys. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Max.
Thank you, man.
Man, thank you, Louise, Ben, and Rebecca. So cool to see and hear from you guys for the first time. Rebecca, I know I've been in a couple meetings with you before, but Louise and Ben, so awesome to meet and get to know you and hear your passion and a lot of cool, fired up comments there, Louise. I think you stirred a hornet's nest there. Always appreciate you, Mr. Max Day.
You guys.
Maximus. How's it going, everybody?
That was well.
Going good. Just boring old news over here.
Is Ben Edison related to the
Yes.
the brothers?
Hey, just to clarify, it's Edson without an I, just so everyone knows. Just so
Oh.
we throw that out there while we're making corrections.
Edson.
Edson. It's all good.
Somebody snuck an eye in there on you.
It happens all the time. I have to correct my clients on it every day.
I know.
How often do you get asked, Ben, if you are related to
Luke Wilson?
yeah.
Luke and Owen Wilson?
Yeah. That also happens every day, usually at the grocery store.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite movies was Bottle Rockets, Spivey. We watched it a lot in college.
Great movie.
Yeah, great movie. We had a great call lined up for today. We got a pretty long PowerPoint, so I should probably get into it. Casey, you and I have unfortunately got to jump pretty close to 1:30 because we've got a conference meeting, which is right around the corner, man. It's right around the corner.
Coming up
quick.
Are you starting
You're
to get
gonna be
nervous
in good
about your?
hands today. When you guys do have to jump, we got a heck of a call lined up for sure.
Casey, are you starting to get nervous about your speaking parts?
Not at all.
No, sounds like
Nope.
you just popped something open over there. What? Oh, not nervous at all. You just drinking beer at 1:00 on a Wednesday. Very interesting. We call those woodberries.
That's a woodberry right there. No, I'm not drinking beer. Actually, I just found it in the fridge. I thought it would be funny. Kick the call off with it.
It was funny. Maybe we should start having beers for Wednesday conference calls. Although for some of y'all, it's like 10 a.m. So
That's true.
like Frank, you're not allowed to be drinking today since it's 10 a.m. where you are. Whoa, look at this new high rise you got. This is sweet.
Where are you, man?
Doing great, man. Thank you guys for having us on. It's
Is that
fired
a
up.
background, or are you in a high rise?
No, it's a background. I got a green screen up, man.
I was about to say, looks like you're hanging out at Quentin Tarantino's house or something.
No, it's Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, Tarantino's house would probably be pretty weird. Pretty awesome, though, I bet. All right.